If this story gave you chills, hit that like button. Want more legends that turned into real-life nightmares? Subscribe and hit the bell. Don't look back. We'll see you in the next one. This isn't just a ghost story. It's a fear that exists in real life, a legend connected to real darkness. Tonight's story, Kuchisake-onna, the smile behind the mask.
This is the legend of Kuchisake-onna, the slit-mouthed woman.
There's a certain kind of silence you only notice when it's too late. Not the peaceful kind, not the kind that helps you sleep. No, this silence feels different, heavy, like something is waiting. You're walking home. Maybe it's late. Maybe you took the wrong street. Or maybe you were never supposed to be here in the first place. You hear it, a second set of footsteps, not yours. You turn around, and for a moment, you don't see anything, just shadows, just darkness. Then you notice her, standing under a flickering streetlight, perfectly still. At first, she looks normal, just another person walking home, a mask covering her face, nothing unusual. Not in a place like this, but something feels off. She's not moving, she's not blinking, just watching you. Then she starts walking, not fast, not slow, just steady. Like she already knows you're not going anywhere. She stops right in front of you, close enough that you can hear her breathing. And then she asks you something. Simple, quiet, almost, am I beautiful? It's a simple question, one you've answered 1,000 times before. But this time, it feels different. Your throat tightens, your mind races, because somehow you already know. This isn't just a question, it's a test. If you say no, you feel it before it even happens. A shift in the air, like something just snapped.
So you say yes, because what else can you say? Because it feels safer, because it feels right, because you want this moment to end.
For a second, everything is still. Then, she reaches up and pulls down her mask. And then, she asks you again, how about now? And that's the moment you realize the truth. There was never a right answer. There was never a way out, because this was never a conversation.
This is the legend of Kuchisake-onna, the slit-mouthed woman.
At first, it feels like any other night. The city is alive, but distant. Lights flicker in windows, cars pass, but never stop. You're just another face in the crowd, trying to get home. Nothing feels wrong. But then, something changes. You don't notice it immediately. It's subtle. The street gets quieter. The air feels heavier, like the world just pulled back and left you behind. That's when you see her, standing on the other side of road, still. He stood there across the street, not looking at his phone, not looking around, just standing there. She's wearing a mask, white, clean, ordinary, the kind you've seen 1,000 times. And yet, something about it feels wrong. Not the mask, not even her. It's the way she's looking at you, like she's been waiting. Then she starts walking, not fast, not slow, perfectly measured, every step deliberate, like she already knows exactly how this ends. Your instincts tell you something's wrong, so you look around. Maybe someone else sees her. Maybe someone else can confirm this is normal, but the street is empty. No footsteps, no voices. Now she's close, too close, close enough that you can hear her breathing, steady, calm, unnatural.
Then she speaks, also softly. Am I beautiful?
Time stops. Not literally, but it feels like it. Your brain locks onto the question.
Simple, innocent, but something deep inside you knows this isn't normal. This isn't safe.
You have to answer. You need to answer, because silence feels worse, because silence feels dangerous. So you say it. Yes.
For a moment, nothing happens. Her fingers trembling slightly, gripping the edge of the mask.
And then you see it. Her mouth cut open, from ear to ear, not stitched, not healed, just open, a permanent, twisted smile. She leans closer, face filling the frame. She tilts her head, almost curious, and asks again, "How about now?" And that's when you understand. There is no right answer, no safe choice, no escape, because this was never a question. It was a trap. And now, you're already inside it. At first, it was just a story. A whisper passed between children. A rumor shared on the way home. Something to scare each other with. But then, the story didn't stay a story. Reports started appearing. Small at first. A child claiming they saw a woman with a mask. Asking strange questions. Most adults ignored it, wrote it off as imagination. But the reports didn't stop. They multiplied. Children began refusing to walk home alone. Some claimed.
We were followed.
Others said.
There were men.
They heard the question.
Am I beautiful?
And suddenly, it wasn't funny anymore.
They're here! Get the kids! My baby! Hold on tight!
Parents got involved.
Fear spreads fast.
But nothing spreads faster than fear for your child. Mothers began escorting kids home. Fathers waited outside school gates. No one wanted to take chances. Because what if this wasn't just a story? Schools stepped in. Students were told to walk in groups. Teachers escorted them. Early dismissals became normal. Rules were created overnight. All because of one thing. A question no one could answer safely. Then the police got involved. Patrols increased. Officers were stationed near schools. Some even reported that
Possible sightings. A woman wearing a mask, carrying something sharp, waiting.
witnesses described her differently. Some said she was tall. Others said average. Some claim she moved slowly. Others said she appeared instantly. But one detail never changed: the mask and the question. Some children said she carried scissors, large, sharp, the kind that could cut through anything or anyone. The more people talked about her, the more real she became. Fear spread through cities. through schools, through entire communities, and once fear takes hold, logic disappears. So what was it? A ghost? A criminal hiding behind a story? Or something even more dangerous that infected an entire society? Because once people believe something is out there, they start seeing it everywhere. Every shadow becomes a threat, every stranger becomes suspicious, and every quiet street feels like a trap. And maybe that's exactly how she survives. Not just as a spirit, but as fear itself.
Because the real horror isn't just seeing her, it's what happens when you think she might be real.
Not all horror needs a face. Not all monsters need a body. Some of them exist somewhere far more dangerous. Kuchisake-onna doesn't attack first. She doesn't chase. She doesn't scream. She asks a simple question: am I beautiful? But that question isn't simple at all. The human brain is built to choose yes or no, right or wrong, safe or dangerous. But what happens when both choices lead to the same end?
Say no, you die. Say yes, you suffer. Try to escape. This is what psychologists call your no-wing scenario, a perfect trap. When the brain realizes there's no solution, it begins to break. Your thoughts slow down. Your body freezes. Your instincts fail you. Because you were never designed to survive something like this.
Fight or flight. Those are your options. But there's a third response, one you don't control. Freeze. And in that moment, you don't run, you don't fight, you just stand there, waiting.
That's her power. Not strength, not speed, control. She doesn't need to chase you, because your own mind holds you in place.
Humans hate uncertainty. We need answers. We need resolution. We need to feel like we're in control. But when control is taken away,
And then there's the question itself. Beauty. Something we associate with comfort. Safety. But here, it becomes something else. Something corrupted. Something weaponized.
Because if you say yes, you don't just survive. You become part of the horror. Your face, your identity, your humanity, taken, replaced. And that's how the legend spreads. Not just through stories, but through transformation. Victim becomes monster, and the cycle continues. And now, even when she's not there, you feel her in every shadow, every quiet street, every stranger wearing a mask.
Because once your mind accepts the possibility, it doesn't let go. Reality bends, logic fades, and fear becomes real. You were never afraid of her. Not really. You were afraid of what she represents. A situation you cannot escape, a choice you cannot win. Because the most terrifying monsters don't just chase you in the dark. They wait for you to realize you've been trapped all along.
We like to believe that stories like Kuchisake-onna stay in stories, that monsters belong to folklore, to myths, to imagination. But sometimes, the line between legend and reality is thinner than we think.
because the fear she represents isn't unique. A face that hides something unnatural.
A person who looks normal until they're not. That idea exists in the real world, and it's happened before. 1950s America, who turned that idea into reality. His name was Ed Gein. To the outside world, he seemed harmless, quiet, reserved, almost invisible. The kind of person you'd never look at twice. But inside his home was something else entirely. Something no one expected. Something no one was prepared to understand.
He didn't just kill, he transformed, using human skin to create masks, faceties that weren't real.
He wasn't hiding, he was becoming, wearing another face to escape his own, to turn himself into something else, something unrecognizable. His crimes didn't just end with him. They inspired some of the most terrifying figures in horror history.
Like Leatherface, a killer who hides behind masks of skin. And Norman Bates, a man living behind a fractured identity.
Different places, different stories, but the same fear. A human face hiding something monstrous. A normal encounter turning into a nightmare.
Kuchisake-onna asks about beauty, but what she reveals destroys that idea completely. And in real life, we've seen the same thing. The illusion of normal.
Because the real monster isn't always what we imagine. It doesn't always look terrifying. Sometimes it looks just like us.
That's what makes this so disturbing. Not the legend, not even the crimes, but the realization that horror doesn't need the supernatural.
It can exist anywhere, in any country, on any street, behind any face. Kuchisake-onna may be a legend, but the fear she represents has already happened in the real world.
And that's what makes her so much more terrifying. Every story like this comes with one question. Not who she is, not where she came from, but something far more important. Can you survive? Over time, people started creating answers. Ways to escape, ways to fight back, ways to feel in control. Some say, you shouldn't say yes or no. You say something in between. Something neutral. Something like, maybe she gets confused. Maybe she hesitates.
Maybe.
You get a few seconds.
Others believe you can distract her, offer candy, something sweet, something unexpected, and while she's distracted,
So you run, as fast as you can, heart pounding, adrenaline taking over. You don't look back, you don't stop. And then, she's there, right in front of you, like she never moved. Like distance, that's when it hits you. None of it works. Not the answers, not the tricks, not even running.
Because those stories were never meant to save you. They were meant to comfort you, to give your mind something to hold on to in a situation where you have none.
The truth is, you were never trying to escape her. You were trying to escape the fear.
And now, you're back where it started. Alone, at night, on an empty street.
You hear it again. Footsteps. Closer this time, closer than before. Am I beautiful? And now, you know everything. The story, the rules, the outcomes. But knowledge doesn't change the ending. Because some legends aren't meant to be escaped, they're meant to be experienced. And when your moment comes, you won't be asking how to survive. You'll be asking yourself why you ever thought you could.